We all love playing some fantasy football this time of year, and all of the drafts are coming up. So if you want to draft a Pittsburgh Steeler to your team, here are some numbers that you might want to take a look at. Najee Harris projected slightly lower than last season, but still ranks in about the top 5 when it comes to running back groups. Deontay Johnson cracks the top 20, and Claypool is projected to improve. Pickens obviously could be a contender, but overall, if you're picking one of these guys for your fantasy team, who in your mind is the best choice, Rich?
I guess it depends on where, Chris, right? I mean, I like Deontay Johnson maybe in like the second or third round, or Najee Harris is probably going to be the first one off the board for the Steelers, I would think so. But if you're going to go for a sleeper, which I don't think he's a sleeper anymore, is George Pickens. But if you're asking me, he gets a ton of targets. I'm going with Deontay Johnson for my Steelers pick.
I mean, I want to take Najee Harris. This should be easy because he should be touching the ball constantly in the run game, in the pass game. But it's like last year, is he going to have a line that can't block for him? Or are they going to have him getting hit quicker than just about any running back in the league? I'd still take him. You can make a case for him if they had a better offensive line. I mean this. You can make a case that Najee should go number 1 overall in fantasy drafts. That's how heavily I think they plan on using him. My big hang-up on him, even though he's my pick, is are you going to get a lot of efficiency, or are you just going to get a volume of touches and hope that it leads to something good?
Absolutely. He had the most touches of all running backs last season. So it's very easy to say Najee, but I would have to go with Deontay as far as seeing the end zone and actually trying to strategize as far as getting points with my fantasy team. That way, I would choose Deontay over Najee only for that reason.
I don't know. Maybe we're going with George Pickens. Maybe everyone's like, I want to go with the guy that we don't know much about. But
I'm not trying to give up my pick here. That's why.
Well, I mean, nobody said Pat Freiermuth, and that's very rude. He's going to be a red zone target. But, I mean, I think it's very tough, Hannah. I think, like, the whole point here is it's really tough to project any of these guys as fantasy options right now because there is just, and I cannot drive this point home enough, there is so much uncertainty on the offensive line. I think it makes it really tough to say you feel confident in any one guy.
And that's why Deontay Johnson is a great pick, because they're going to have to get rid of the ball. He's the one that gets open.
Oh, no, that's some
fastest.
That's very impressive game theory, Richie. Thank you. That was very good, very good.
Bear in mind, no one said you had to take them, in your top 5 picks. And Muller, before you pick on me anymore, check out these next numbers, okay? I would be tempted to take Boswell or Freiermuth because I think there are better defenses as well. That made this projection, and I really think there are more reliable quarterbacks to put on your fantasy team. But also look at those projections between Trubisky and Pickett. I know Richie's probably smiling at that one. But, Rich, based on this list now, do you like any of these guys better for your fantasy squad? Not saying you have to pick them number 1 overall.
Yeah, Pat Freiermuth for me. I think he's going to be a huge target, especially when they get in the red zone down the middle. I predict him to be like a Travis Kelce kind of player for the Steelers. I do. I'm not going out on a limb here.
Is Patrick Mahomes throwing him the football?
I like he catches
going out on a
everything.
limb. Richie,
the guy catches everything.
Richie, my index finger is the limb, and you are stepping all the way out on it.
Canada likes to use the tight end, so watch out. I'm going with Pat Freiermuth for this group.
I'll take the Steelers' defense. I mean, I think
paid defense.
I think they might be on the field a fair amount. Like, I know you can stream defenses throughout the league and throughout the year and just go with like good matchups. But if you're somebody that likes to ride with one defense, I think the Steelers should be a turnover machine because of the pressure you hope they'll get. The huge risk there, guys. Everybody better stay healthy, or else it'll be the Derek Tuska show.
You know what? I mean, if the Steelers invested $119 million in this defense, I'm going to invest in them on my fantasy team. However, I hope you're right, Rich, as far as Pat Freiermuth being a Travis Kelce figure this year for the Steelers offense. I mean, that would be amazing. But I also could foresee a lot of 12 personnel being used with the O-line still being just so suspect. And I'm not sure how much he may score compared to Kelce, which is a very high bar to reach for, but would love to see it.
That's my bold prediction, AJ.
Here's a bold prediction. How about Zach Gentry? How about Zach Gentry is everyone's fantasy
Pat
pick?
Freiermuth is going to have 10+ touchdowns this year.
I don't think that's a bad prediction, Rich. I think he's very reliable. Now, as for your fantasy team, is he the one Steeler you want? Share your fantasy football opinions with us on Twitter @KDK Sports and let us know which Steeler pick you like for your fantasy team. We'd love to hear from you and get some insight. More Inside the Huddle when we come back.